Well, he's not Kylo Ren with his shirt off.
Obviously, I like a hot Aunt May, but like...
You broke that chin?
I've been waiting my whole life to go to the parade, man.
Stick around, 'cause I am coming back. And I know someday I'm gonna make it big.
I'm good.
Talk about shit we talk about anyway. Just sit here.
Seriously.
That's the plan. That's the dream.
Wouldn't it be great to get paid for this?
All right, let's get to the show. Welcome to this week's edition of the Nick, John, and Jamie Show. I'm joined by my partners in crime, Nick and Jamie. This, of course, is John. This week's show, well, let's get into last week's show. Last week's show didn't work out too well. We recorded last week, and Nick, your mic
Cut out.
I don't know what was going on with your mic, man. It wasn't. You
guys just don't want me on the show.
Well,
Trying to get me out of it already.
Well, the problem is, it's when ignorance and temperamental technology or temperamental audio collide. There's bound to be at least one casualty. So, but honestly, I'm a little happy about it because I like the format or the topic of this week's conversation. I asked the guys, Jamie, look at you with you got notes. You got lots of notes this week.
No, I just have printouts of, what was, like the movies and the shows
That you
for the past year. Well, I just went through it. I mean, honestly, I didn't really see that many movies.
Well,
it was
let
mostly
me quick.
shows.
Sorry to cut you off. Let me tell everybody what we're talking about before we dive into it. So, the guys and I, of course, again, we have these busy lives that we talk about. It's not anything glamorous or exciting. We're not jet setting around the world. But when we do get a moment to go see a movie, 9 times out of 10, it's got some cape or cowl or lightsaber or something within our realm of enthusiasm that we'll plunk good hard cash down to go see, because it's not, with again, be busy. We want to make sure we make the most bang for the buck, right? I mean, so the movies that we go and see, don't.
Well, once in a while, we're trying to get laid, so then we gotta go, see that chick flick or two.
That was 50 Shades for me the first time around.
That one was brutal, man. Because if they stuck like good-looking people in there, then I would have been like, fine. You know what I mean?
50 Shades, they weren't good looking.
I didn't think so.
I thought she was all right. I don't think she was like
listen,
smoking.
would you rather watch her or like a Margot Robbie?
Well,
oh yeah.
Okay, that's my point. Like,
yeah.
if you want to suck me in, give me something good.
I could get behind.
Exactly.
That was. I mean,
brutal.
let's face it.
Let's put it that way.
She stole the show for, it's Harley Quinn for sure. I mean, and
what else was she in?
She wasn't hard on the eyes for sure.
She was in Marvel too. She was in Days of Futures Past. No, she was in the first when they did the remake with X-Men when they were younger.
Well, Wolf on Wall Street's where she sucked me in.
Oh,
she was awesome in that.
But I'm saying, my point though is with the 50 Shades. Like, if you want to get the guys involved in that, put some better looking people in there. Just
I
my
didn't
point.
see the movie.
Like, the dude too
Trust
was
me,
the dude was like mediocre at best. You know what I mean? It's like, this is kind of lame.
He was in a movie, his series on Netflix. It was a UK series. He was really good. Where he was a psychopath. He was a serial killer.
Oh, I never saw it, but I know what you're talking about.
Anyway, you know what I'm talking about.
Yeah.
Cindy and I watched that. It was fantastic. I really enjoyed it.
He's actually not that bad of an actor, but the whole storyline.
He's just not eye candy for Jamie.
Well, I'm just saying, man. Hey, man.
Well, he's not Kylo Ren with his shirt off.
Yeah, seriously. See, and now we're talking
Listening,
about chick
Kylo.
flicks here.
Yeah, that's okay.
You got sucked into chick flicks.
Yeah,
and we're saying we're using them to get laid, and here we are.
Well, I mean, that is the format of our show, kind of no format. But let's attempt a format, okay?
Well,
So the format, let me just get this out, and then we could just sort of brace this or just put it out there for so we can set an expectation. So this week's show, in light of the Oscars, the Oscar nominations, we realized that we did not plunk down good hard cash to see almost any of those movies that were nominated. And it's not that they weren't good movies. I'm sure, they have their own artistic merit and they're critically acclaimed. But we tend to not take stock in the critics. I mean, kind of like what we were talking about last week with Jedi.
Oh, we touched it, yeah.
Yeah, like don't take stock in the critics because, and here we are criticizing things. So
to be honest,
don't take stock in us either. We're just, talking.
Yeah, but we also don't have a financial backing. So that's where it gets twisted. I think a lot of that critique is coming from
people that get paid.
Yeah, somebody's getting paid
possibly.
and they're trying to push it through. In my opinion,
I think some of them are like that, but I do probably think there are some legitimate.
The only one I wanted to see that I didn't see is The Shape of Water.
I saw it.
I didn't.
Was it good?
It looked like it was good, and then Dunkirk. I started watching it, and then I fell asleep, and then I never went back to it. But that was pretty good.
I wanted to watch it.
It's actually pretty good. I just fell asleep because I was tired.
But this is my point, right? So the Oscar-nominated movies, right? They're not something that we know what we took our $12 and plus, depending on if we took our kids or to go see these movies, and the ones that we were excited about all prior to 2017 when they were gearing up and then releasing them, we were like earmarking them in our minds. We're definitely going to go see Thor Ragnarok. We're definitely going to see Logan. We're going to see Wonder Woman and Spider-Man and all these movies because that's what we dig, right? And we're going to break off of some cash to go see it. So in light of that, I thought it'd be a cool idea, and I texted you guys about this for this week's show to have it be about what our quote-unquote Oscar nominees would be. So I wanted to shift gears. What did
you call it?
I called it the Stanlees.
The Stanlees. I like that.
So I wanted to shift gears, call them the Stanlees, and then have us just talk about the ones we really dug, rank them, and then give each other, talk about the ones we thought were, I think there's 9 nominated movies. Pick 9 of the movies that we thought should be honored in the or nominated in the Stanleys, and then we can talk about how we rank them from 9 being the worst and 1 being our Stanlee Award winner. So just real quick, I put something together just yesterday. Hold on one sec. So if you look, I actually got our Stanlee. So it's my wife thinks I'm a psychopath. I went and bought a Stanlee bobblehead. It's the one from Guardians of the Galaxy, which is kind of ironic because Rocket Raccoon called him a grade A prevert, and it's hard to come to grips with this, but Stanlee just got pulled into sort of the Me Too thing. He got accused of.
Did he really?
Yeah.
I didn't even see that one.
Yeah.
There's so many of them. It's flooded.
Every time. Didn't I just saw this morning? Charles in Charge got accused by what's her face?
Scott Baio.
Yeah.
Well,
it was
Scott
on the news
Baio.
this morning.
I mean, you could. He used to linger around the Playboy Mansion.
Yeah, probably.
But Stanlee's a 95-year-old man, and this isn't like 40 years ago.
This was like recent.
This is recent because he goes and he allegedly gropes his nurses and walks around naked and makes suggestions to him at 95 years old.
He's gonna die soon, so I guess what does he care?
That's what I heard in one of these articles. Like he just doesn't give a shit anymore. So, but regardless of that, it's kind of like separating Russell Crowe and his reputation from the characters he plays. You love the characters he plays,
awesome,
but
he's
you
a
just
douche.
hear shitty things about how he behaves. So, anyway, long story short, we're going to nominate or go through our list of nominated Stanleys, and I'm actually going to post a how-to on how I created this Stanlee. Gold paint.
I was going to say, did you spray paint that?
I did. That was my arts and crafts for the week. So let's get into it. We'll go with our lists, and let's start with Jamie. Jamie, what did you think? I mean, you saw quite a bit as well as we did. What was your top 9?
I'm
ninth
telling you,
down to 1?
I think Logan was probably my favorite.
You're not even going to bury the lead. You're going right to number 1.
I'm going right to number 1.
You could have worked it up there.
That was impressive. I'm telling you, man, it was pretty good. I like how they did it. It was really dark. I didn't at first when I started watching, I was like, man, where the hell are they going with this thing?
Mm-hmm.
And I was like, wow, you know what I mean? Like,
Yeah.
Xavier with like dementia. I mean, that's pretty awesome.
I like that twist, and he's the one that like kind of killed off all the other X-Men.
Yeah, and they don't talk about it.
The accident in Westchester.
Yeah, it's pretty cool, man. I like that movie. It was really good. I saw it a couple times, actually.
Well, that's how John rates movies, and I agree with him. If you watch it more than once and you always find your way back to that movie, then you know you truly enjoyed it because it doesn't get old for you.
Yeah, there's always something there for you. So all right, what was your least favorite out of your 9?
I'm gonna have to say The Last Jedi.
Hey, it made it to the list.
I was going to say you actually
it
put
made
that
it to the list because it's
a Star Wars
movie. I like Star Wars, and it just is at the bottom of my list.
Yeah.
Yeah. No, I hear you. I thought I didn't even think it was going to make it to your list based on last week's episode.
Nah, I mean, like I said, there's some good things about it. But
wait,
the
I'm going to
majority
quote you. That's why I give it 1.
Yeah, dude. I mean, it sucked. I mean, I'm not gonna lie. It was bad, but
Tell us how you really feel.
But like, there were some good things. Like I said, I don't want to get back into it again. But there were some good things about it that I liked. There was just a majority of it. I mean, they could have done it better, in my opinion.
Do you think part of that is the high bar that we set?
No, I really don't, because look at The Force Awakens. I mean, I thought that was done pretty decent.
Yeah,
it was good, and they could have gone off of that. They went off the rails. It wasn't funny. It wasn't like, it didn't have me sucked in. I fell asleep because I was bored. I mean,
wow.
Did you seriously fall asleep?
I dozed off for a little bit. No lie. It was like, what's going on here? You know what I mean? Like, this is kind of dumb.
Have you seen it a second time yet?
Nah, we should. When it comes out on DVD,
you just don't want to waste your money on it.
No, well, I'll see it again. I'll buy it. You know what I mean? I'll buy it. I'll
Star
watch
Wars,
it again.
but yeah, see it a second time. I was kind of like, I wasn't at a 1, but then John was like, see it again, and I had to see it again, and I saw it with Aiden, and I appreciated it a little more. Got it up to a 6.5, like I said. Probably was more like a 3 or a 4 for me. But I think once you see it again, I think you'll appreciate certain things more in it than you did the first time.
Yeah, we'll see.
So
he's still not holding out hope.
I'm just disappointed, honestly.
I think we all are.
So if you were to give your Stanley to a movie, it would have been Logan for 2017.
Yeah, for sure. I mean, the other movies were good, like Thor, and I enjoyed those. The not the Avengers, the Justice League. That was like, it was good, but I think that racks in the middle for me, because I think it was like a little. It was like a little like overproduced, if you will, in my opinion.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? They like took it to a level where they started dabbling in the Michael Bay area.
Yeah, it's a big budget movie, right? And sometimes it can stink of a big budget movie because the story doesn't support all that cash. And that's fine. And so if I was to put my ranking into a list, I did actually. It's right here.
Imagine that.
Yeah, I'm prepared. And so, my ranking is definitely going to be. I went with number 9, Blade Runner.
I didn't see that, so I couldn't put it on there.
I see, and I had such an affection for the first Blade Runner. Back in
that was good.
Yeah, back in.
Yeah, I liked the first one. I didn't see this. Did you see the second one, Jamie?
I didn't see the second one, and I did want to see that. I'll have to.
It's a beautiful movie, man. It is like stunning to look at.
Really? But
it is.
How's the storyline?
Story's really good. And there's a couple of things that plot hole wise where it didn't make sense. Like there's there's Jared Leto's character who's the big baddie, and then he is in search for this hybrid, which is, part replicant, part human, and it turns spoilers, everybody, spoilers. If you don't want to hear about the Blade Runner, 2049, just hold your ears and go la 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 for about 2 more minutes. So he's in search for this hybrid, and then the hybrid is Sean Young's character Rachel, right, from the first one, and Harrison Ford's character Decker, and they actually had a kid.
Oh, really?
They were able to cross over, and so that it's like the cornerstone of what Jared Leto's character he's in the hunt for. And it turns out that if I got this right, and this is where it got a little convoluted, that do you care, Jamie?
What? I like Blade Runner.
No, did you talk? I'm talking about the second one because I just
I don't. No, that doesn't bother me. No.
All right. So
yeah, damn you,
damn you, John to hell.
Here, I'm checking out right now. Let me know.
Go la 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 la.
Blink and I'll come back.
You didn't go la la la, so I thought it was okay. So and then they finally reunite at the end, and it turns out he's actually working. She's an expert. She's got some issue with her immune system, so she's kind of this girl in a bubble. But she's this expert at creating memories for replicants, and she works for the company that Jared Leto owns, if I'm following correctly.
She was the daughter of Harrison Ford's character.
Rachel. Rachel.
And that's who Jared was looking for, the daughter.
Yeah, and so they kind of lead them right to her, and then you don't hear about any of it anymore. That's the only thing I hated. 9 times out, the big thing is that I really, really dug the movie. It's a beautiful movie to watch. The score is really cool. I wanted some of that old school score, that sort of haunting tone that goes through it. They replaced it with a really big, boisterous, bassy tone. But overall, good movie. But if I'm going down my list, it's Blade Runner, Lego Batman.
That was good.
I liked it.
That was good. That was solid.
I did.
I really enjoyed Lego
forgot about
Batman.
Lego Batman.
That was funny.
Yeah,
I've
done really well.
That would have been on my list.
Will Arnett as Batman is awesome.
He's so funny.
It is good.
And then Justice League, same issues you had, Jamie, what we touched on a little bit.
But I did like the interaction between the characters. I didn't like the Flash. I thought he was kind of weird. But I did like...
we like the CW's Flash.
Yeah, which is weird because that's like... It's like, that's low budget as hell.
Yeah.
Right? And you're like, man, but as an actor, he's not that bad, surprisingly. And
yeah.
Those shows are like a guilty pleasure of mine.
Oh, absolutely. Man.
Except Supergirl, man. I think that really bombed.
I can't even going, isn't it?
Yeah, I can't sit through it, and that's why it was on CBS, and then they dumped it to the CW.
Not to get off topic, but I was telling John.
That's what we do,
this,
man. We get off topic,
right? But
it's a conversation.
They're coming out with a show called Krypton. Did you see previews for that on Sci-Fi?
I did. They had that, and Black Lightning's the new one that just came out. I didn't watch that yet.
I didn't see it. Krypton didn't come out till March, but it's supposed to be about Jor-El, Superman's dad, his grandfather, pretty much. And how there was corruption going on, and the Jor-El family was at a low point. They weren't even a powerhouse we come to know about. That's the previews of what I've got so far, but it looks cool.
That's pretty cool.
You have to send me the trailer.
A little different kind of perspective on the whole Superman saga. I'll check it out because I dig that kind of stuff.
And that's CW?
No, that's Sci-Fi.
Okay,
Network.
all right.
Yeah.
But I know on CW that they just started, like I said, Black Lightning. So I have that DVD.
What is that about?
It's some character. I don't even remember.
So what I've heard it's about, and I haven't watched the show, but I have to give it a go. What I've heard 2 things, and this just I was listening to Fat Man on Batman, Mark Bernardin. He was describing it as, he said one thing. He said the guy's suit, the Black Lightning's character. his suit reminded him of Dynamo from The Running Man, the Arnold Schwarzenegger movie.
God, that's a great. Yeah. I mean, that takes me back watching going right? Running Man.
That was a Stephen King story.
Really? Was it?
Yeah.
I actually like it, even though it's like you watch it now and it's like so cheesy.
Yeah. But the Stephen King story was you were in a competition and you ran. And you ran, and if you died, you died. Or if you stopped, you got killed. Right? And all you did was run. And then the last person to
win is the running man.
Is the one that's ran the furthest, longest, and whatever. But
Arnold.
Totally not the fantastical, 80s version with
Did he make a bad movie in the 80s? I mean, I know they were
all bad movies except for Terminator.
But I liked them. I did.
Yeah.
Like, even
Dude, you got to see Tango and Cash. Have you
seen
it?
I love
okay,
Tango
you know
and
what
Cash.
I'm talking about. That.
Oh,
it is the man. If you were to jam it all into
bar.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's so good.
You broke that chin. That's a great movie. Did you ever watch Tango again?
No, I didn't.
Oh, dude, you got to do it.
That is it has Sylvester Stallone and what the hell is his name?
Kurt Russell.
Kurt Russell in it. It's so perfect. The two just play off each other so well.
Kurt Russell's awesome.
Oh, I love Kurt Russell.
Yeah, I would definitely vote for him.
All right.
Escape from L.A.
Not L.A., man.
No,
New
York was better.
Which one? No, but the one where he's surfing
that's
the bus.
L.A.
Yeah, that's awesome.
That's another gem.
I didn't like that one. I thought that was
well that was different. Sarcasm, man.
Yeah. I thought you were serious.
No, you watch it with like a grain of salt, man.
Yeah. So Justice League. We talked about some of the issues that we had with Justice League, but it's still a good, fun watch. Star Wars: The Last Jedi. Spider-Man: Homecoming, which I really dug.
Yeah, that was decent. Like I said, the only thing is,
how many times
Aunt May.
Oh yeah,
I can't.
You don't like a hot Aunt May?
No, well, obviously I like a hot Aunt May, but like it doesn't fit the story. You know what I mean? It's like having like the last Spider-Man as like Peter Parker being like a cool guy. You know?
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's the same.
You're holding to
same premise. It's like it's not. I don't know. I can't buy into the whole thing.
You're holding true.
But
to
I
the
do
comics.
Like that Spider-Man. He is a really good Spider-Man.
Tom Holland,
like
he's awesome.
He's like he's surprised that he's Spider-Man. I do like that. It's pretty cool.
Yeah, I mean his debut, when he was in Civil War, that he was just doing what Spidey does, and he's a kid. He's enamored with these. He's with these superheroes.
Doing what a kid would do if he was like involved with all these guys.
Yes.
It's like and he's just like critiquing everyone, joking around with them all. He's like, "You're Cap. Hey, Cap."
That's the one great exchange was the Brooklyn Queens thing when they were like, they're both boys from the boroughs.
Okay, yeah, I remember that. I haven't seen it in a while.
So I have Spider-Man: Homecoming, Guardians of the Galaxy 2.
Oh, that was good.
I'm
like
really
the first one better though,
and that's why it's fourth on my list. If it was when did Guardians 1 come out? 2015, 16?
I thought. Well, you could be 15.
Well, if it was then, say it's 2015, I can't remember. Then it would have been number 1 for sure. I mean,
I can watch number 1 over and over again. Guardians 2, I might have watched twice, but I just have no urge to. Like,
it's the rewatch factor, man.
I'm just not into it.
Yeah, and then Wonder Woman.
Hey, excellent movie.
Fantastic
I love the
movie.
Wonder Woman.
It's awesome.
Probably one of the best DC movies that they've come out with, honestly.
I think it is
absolutely the best.
It's really good.
Good from beginning to end, and I like
how...
Actually, I did like how they linked the picture in. At least they did something right with DC. Marvel's so good at linking everything in.
Yeah.
They actually linked that picture into Batman versus Superman.
Yes.
So it was that was actually done well for a change.
People are saying that Steve Trevor Steve Trevor might be coming back as
Chris Klein's character.
Chris Pine.
Pine, that's it.
Klein was American Pie.
Got that wrong.
And how did that not make it to the list? Nah, just kidding. But that he might be coming back
as what?
Martian Manhunter. Because Martian Manhunter is the shapeshifter.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's pretty cool.
I think that is awesome. And then Thor Ragnarok, which
good
was, man, I had a blast watching that movie.
That was one of my favorites.
So much fun. And on the opposite end of the spectrum, my Stanlee nominated, what I would think that would get the Stanlee is definitely Logan. You and I are on the same page with Logan. That movie blew me away. I mean,
you went into that with like no at least I didn't. But the other Logan movies were actually pretty good.
Well,
the Wolverine movies.
I liked them.
Not good.
I thought they were.
I liked the one where he goes to Japan.
That was good.
That was pretty
yeah,
good.
that was good
because they actually thought outside the box and they did something that I thought was pretty cool with him trying to get rid of him.
Well, and they used a lot of Frank Miller's stuff when that.
You can't go wrong with that.
Yeah. So his run on Wolverine was awesome. So and then, but with Logan, it's like there was a lot of really thoughtful elements to the plot, right, or to the characters. If you look at Xavier, you just mentioned it. Xavier having dementia, like holy shit, the most powerful mind on the planet could identify and wipe out thousands of people in just a thought. Now he's losing his marbles, right?
Yeah.
And then Logan, how do you compensate as a writer? So and say, how do we? He can get almost cut in half and still survive.
The only thing I had
make his immune system weaken from being poisoned by adamantium.
Well, that was always in the comic. That was always the dilemma. Like,
yeah.
Oh, that was in the comic.
Yeah, it's like him being poisoned by that adamantium.
Yeah.
Did
they play that out in the comics?
They did a little bit. They did a little bit.
As he got older.
Yeah, I think it was more in like the. Remember they did the Future series.
Days of Future Past kind of
thing?
Yeah,
and then they would play into how he was weaker and he was aging.
Yeah, well, that's how they killed him.
Yeah,
that's how they killed him in this. They actually that was a big Marvel event where Wolverine got killed.
Magically came back to life someday.
Well, nobody ever truly dies in the comics, right?
No.
Jean Grey's been killed like 20 times, except for they said Bucky. Bucky never comes back, but then they brought him back as the Winter Soldier. But he dies. He gets encased in adamantium, and his immune system's down, and he winds up. They killed him, and then I think there was a run of Wolverine in Hell, but I can't remember if I didn't pick that.
That sounds pretty cool. I don't think I've ever seen.
Yeah,
those ones.
Check it out. Go on Comixology or just go on Marvel.
I didn't see the ones on when he went in Hell. That's pretty cool.
Yeah, just get the digital version.
Yeah, I'll check it out.
Now, did they get into it when they were in that movie? I've always wanted to know this. Did they really get into how all the other mutants died? I know how the ones died in Westchester because of...
They killed them. I think they might have been hunting them, too. I'll have to rewatch it.
Okay, because I knew that... I'm assuming they were hunting them, but it just seems like that was like a quick jump between... I know that Marvel has a hard time linking the movies together.
Yeah.
But it just seemed like a quick jump from Days of Future Past to Logan, and it's like all these mutants are dead now. I mean,
well, you know how in the what's the one where they do finally finish off the Sentinels. In the comics, the Sentinels were polishing off a lot of the mutants.
Yeah, but that was Days of Future Past.
No, I'm saying comic book wise.
Oh, comic book wise.
So again, I got those comics when they came out. That storyline was fantastic. That's another Chris Claremont, John Byrne run. That was awesome, and they stuck to a lot of it. There's this one scene in the comic where it's a future state, and it's told mostly as Kitty Pryde being the character that you're following along, and the cover of the comic, it's iconic. It's Wolverine and Kitty Pryde. They're dressed in plain clothes. There's a bunch of posters in the back, and there's all rubble around, like a post-apocalyptic thing. And on the posters, it says who's been deceased and who's wanted and stuff. So when you go into the comic and you're reading through the comic, they have there's a scene where the Sentinels bust in. It's a great set of panels. The one, Colossus is alive, Storm is alive, Kitty Pryde's alive, Wolverine's alive, and a couple other characters. But Colossus and Wolverine have this fastball special, and that's when he basically Colossus picks him up and hurls him at whoever. And so he goes to hurl him at this Sentinel, and the Sentinel turns around, and he has this blast that comes from the palm of his hand, and he basically takes off all the skin
of
Wolverine, and it just drops with this adamantium steaming.
Yeah, he ain't coming back from that.
That's awesome.
He ain't coming back.
You ain't regenerating that.
Those were with
there
like
wasn't a cell left.
No.
those were the ones that were with like when Cable and Nightwolf.
Well, Cable came around in the 90s. These were more in the 80s.
Okay.
Yeah.
Cable was the son of Jean Grey and Cyclops.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah. But really, like, if I'll go and show it to you. I have it in, I think the long boxes are right in the corner of the basement. But it's really cool set of panels. So that's my big list. Logan is definitely number one. It's just compelling. Oh, and the other thing is, we talked about none of these movies winning awards. I just saw on, I think it was Comic Book News, Wolverine just won a award for at the, I think it's called the ADG Awards, Art Directors Guild Awards.
What did they win?
I want to say art direction. So, but I'm not sure. I just saw it as a quick headline on Reddit, but
They never win the big awards though. It's like
they're
the
not
best
even nominated.
directors.
Yeah, that's why we're having the Stanlees, man.
It always kills me because I think that the movies that make the most money at the movies are the movies we love. But then they'll give like I forget what movies nominated this year that I've never even heard of.
Yeah, they're
the
the
little girl
they're all
movie.
the artsy ones.
Yeah,
you know
the
what I mean?
girl movie, the little girl. I forget her name. I forget the movie. It's supposed to win it all, or like La La Land, like 2 years ago.
They're all ego-stroking movies. Is
Yeah,
what they are.
I mean,
it's to stroke the old Hollywood ego.
Well, it's when I went to school, when I went to college, I went to art school, right? And I always cringe when someone would say, "Oh, so you're an artist," right? Because I thought it had some goofy air about it. You know, it's like, no, I paint pictures. You know, I draw. I'm not an artist. But I think once you wear that moniker, yeah, you should be an artist is an artist. It's just a word. But when you take on an air about being an artist, you know, I even said it differently there. That's when it becomes a little goofy. And I think sometimes these award shows get up their own ass about it.
Oh yeah, especially lately. It's just I don't even watch them.
Yeah, no, I haven't watched an award show in years.
I do watch sometimes the Oscars. I like the beginning of it where they set it up. Whoever, I forget who did it last year, did a great job.
Yeah,
Jimmy
monologue.
Kimmel, right?
Jimmy Kimmel did a great job last year.
He always has a good monologue though.
He ripped Matt Damon. It was because those two have that little thing going on. It was so funny.
It's been going on for years.
Talking about how who collected a paycheck for his last movie was that Dragon Wall, whatever.
Yes,
yeah, it was hilarious. Real quick, before we go on, I just want to touch on my movies.
Yeah, go for it.
I mean, a lot of them are the same. I actually thought Wonder Woman was slightly better than Logan, just because I like the overall effects. But
It's a good argument.
I can't disagree with you guys on Logan either. You can go either way. But the one movie that you guys didn't, I loved. I liked Bright. I did.
Yeah.
I put that on my list because that was just such a change. I didn't expect somebody to make a movie like that and enjoy it.
Yeah, it was a lot of fun.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, and then Rotten Tomatoes shit all over that.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? And then I was like, going and watching that. It was really, I thought it was done really well. Like how they did that. Like they did like kind of the Lord of the Rings thing, but like realistic. You know what I mean? It's not all like dragons and shit flying around. It's like typical life, but with magic.
I remember,
That's awesome.
Yeah,
That's a good concept.
I think the opening scene is like she's bitching at him to go get the fairy to kill the fairy.
That
I'm
was
like, what the hell is going on here?
like he's killing a rat.
I was like, this is crazy. Then you see all those like the gang members outside. They're like, he's like, I'm trying to sell my house here.
He steps on it.
Yeah, it's funny.
It's good. It was good. Matter of fact, I think I'm going to give it a rewatch. Yeah. There's just so much to watch. I mean, it's really, we're in a great time for TV.
Yeah, so much content material.
Yeah, I think Netflix coming along, HBO with Game of Thrones, I think outside the big budget Hollywood movies like a Star Wars, I find more enjoyment in those other shows. Like,
yeah. Last night I watched that Tupac movie on HBO.
Was it good?
That's my era, and that was really good. Well, and the guy that got playing Tupac, it looked like almost.
I saw
like
the preview.
So is it like an origin?
No, it's about I
want to say origin story.
Isn't
like
it like
a
detective because they want to say they're related type deal?
So it starts off with him when he went to jail over that rape case.
Yeah,
Tupac.
And then they have somebody like interviewing him. So then he reviews like his past life, and then it comes up to that point, and then it goes from that point to his death.
Oh, did they show the shooting?
Yes, they show that. That's like the end of the movie.
They show Biggie.
Spoiler alert! Yeah, the guy who they had playing Biggie was not. He didn't look anything like him.
Well, Biggie's a hard.
Well, that's funny you say that,
and
it's like. So I saw Straight Outta Compton, and
that was a good movie.
And I was like, awesome. Holy cow, this dude looks just like Ice Cube. I can't believe it. And it turns out it's his son.
Yeah,
I didn't even realize it was his son.
I'm like, man, that's uncanny. They must have scoured the countryside looking for this dude.
That was a really good movie. I was awesome. Surprised. I was never into the rap and all that. The rap. That's how much I go into it. But
let's make it to the soundbite.
Yeah. I was, and I thought it was pretty good.
Yeah, that was really good. Really well done, and you find out all the backstories behind the group, and I was like, "This is pretty cool."
Yeah, I mean, it's enjoyable for sure. So, as far as I got into not just my 9 nominees. So it sounds like Nick, you're still. Are we all on the same page? We think Logan, or are you thinking Wonder Woman?
I'm thinking Wonder Woman ahead of Logan, but I have 2 out of 3 gets the award.
That's right.
Yeah.
So, for the award, I'm going to post this online with my how-to. So, yeah, we'll say Logan gets the Stanlees. And if I had a sound machine, or I'd put in some fantastic music to go along with it.
I'm sure you'll figure out something.
Yeah, that's what I'm doing these days, figuring it out. So, the other thing was like, so they were my top 9, right? And I had a feeling we were all going to settle in on Wonder Woman or Logan. But some of the other movies that came out that were more our speed that I thought were just kind of disappointing. Valerian.
Oh, I didn't see that, but I heard it's
1,000. Yeah.
I didn't want to waste my money on it. I'm just waiting for it to come out on HBO or something.
I was so stoked for that movie because I'm a big, I was a big fan of The Fifth Element.
Fifth Element was awesome.
That was on this morning.
Was it real? See, that's a movie I could catch at any time and just stop my, slow my roll and watch it. The other one was Kingsman 2.
I love the first
one. Yeah, these are all the first one was good, and then this one was like it got a little ridiculous.
Well, don't spoil it.
Oh, you didn't see it?
Nah.
Yeah, I'm just saying it just got a little ridiculous, and I actually stopped watching it.
So, Nick, I'm not going to spoil anything for you, but so these are all comic book, graphic novel based movies.
I didn't know that Kingsman was
Kingsman was. Valerian's from quite a while ago. It's really good, in a graphic novel form, but the movie not so much. But the Kingsman, so it felt like what the States or Hollywood was guilty of when they would rip off UK shows and bring them in and make them very Americanized,
like Office,
like The Office, right? Mm-hmm. And it's felt like, and I have no idea how it went down, but it felt like that's what they did with the first Kingsman, very British based show, and then when they brought it over, they had to slather it with cowboy bullshit, and they called it The Statesman, and it was just not very good.
No.
So, I mean, if you have nothing, and I mean, in this age of too much content to watch, if you have nothing to watch, give it a go.
Yeah, okay, because Aiden really wanted to go see it, and I'm like, I kept putting it off. Well, he kept getting in trouble, so that's why he didn't see it. But now I'm glad I didn't go pay to see it, because it would have been,
Well, back to our original conversation, the beginning of this conversation. We like to choose what we have to pay, what we pay for when we go see a movie.
And
I would pay for Logan again and again.
Yeah,
for sure. So, and then the last one was, again, another comic book conversion into the big screen was Atomic Blonde. And I'm a big Charlize Theron fan.
I think we all are.
Talking about.
Dude.
Right.
Of course. No shit.
Yeah, she's smoking.
Yeah.
But and it was a decent movie. It seemed like Hollywood's female answer to John Wick.
Yes. I didn't see it.
Oh yeah, John Wick 2.
Oh, that was a great.
I like John Wick 2. I like John Wick 1 better.
Better, so do I. But
2 is awesome.
Yeah. Do you know they're coming out with a series called The Continental?
I did not.
No,
that's
really.
cool.
That would be cool. I love the manager. I love that guy.
He's fantastic.
What is his name? He's in a bunch of stuff.
I don't know.
He's always a great actor.
Yeah, he brings just this. He could slip into a villain like that.
So good. He was in that show they tried to come out with this year on Stars, that the Gods, American Gods.
Oh, that's right.
I tried to watch it. One episode was just too weird for me.
It is pretty out there. I watched the whole series. I don't think it's coming back.
It should.
But honorable mentions, and it's not so much just comic books in my list. The ones that didn't make it to the top 9 were War for the Planet of the Apes. I thought that was really, really good. Cartoon Justice League Dark. I thought was really good.
I didn't see that.
Check it out. It's they bring in Constantine and they bring in the Swamp Thing, and it's done really well. That's the big. You know what? The DC's animated movies, I think I've enjoyed more than their live action movies, and then Marvel's got it in reverse. I'm not digging any of their animated stuff, but obviously all their movies are.
They're old. Remember the old cartoon in the '90s? That X-Men. The X-Men.
Oh yeah,
yo, you cannot fuck with that.
Yeah. That was every Saturday morning.
That was legit.
So
other than that, yeah, I agree with you.
So you're a '90s Marvel guy more than just because of the age, right?
Yeah, pretty much. I mean, I did have some of the '80s comics. Mostly X-Men, Spider-Man, some Batman.
So your all-time favorite is X-Men, then?
Yeah, they're.
Sounds like it is. Like you just kind of lean.
Yeah, mostly X-Men. I would say.
I would say, and correct me if I'm wrong, Jamie. Deadpool.
Deadpool is badass.
Yeah. So did you collect Deadpool, or were you more into?
I was more into mostly just X-Men.
So
there's a lot of. Actually, I liked a lot of Spawn. Like a lot of Image comics and stuff too.
Yeah, Spawn hit home with me too. Well, I was big into. I would not pick up a book because if the art wasn't good.
Yeah, I wasn't much of an artist. I mostly like traced them and stuff.
Yeah, I'm a quote-unquote artist.
Pinkies up.
What a douche. But yeah, so like I remember hopping off runs because the art was really, really bad. But Image, and the reason I bring it up is because Image was founded by a bunch of artists, basically McFarlane, Jim Lee, Rob Liefeld, and a handful of other guys. But that 90s I would still touch in, grab a comic here and there, but not as steadily as I did in the 80s and a little bit of the early 90s. So I missed that big wave of like for the X-Men, Cable comes in,
Nightwolf.
I think that was big when there was a lot of things that came out of the 90s, but I missed a little bit of it.
I think like Infinity Wars was like big in the 90s too.
Yeah.
Early 90s.
Yeah.
Yeah, Infinity Gauntlet.
Well, the crazy thing is that artists became these like celebrities. Everybody hails the writers nowadays in comics, but back then it was like in the 90s, artists could make $1 million.
Oh yeah, a lot of them too. The guys who would do the art on the skateboards, that was big in the 90s. I mean, that's forgotten, but back then those guys were like heroes.
Yeah, it was a big push, a big wave, which that's a good thing. I don't mind people getting paid. But so things that not so much delivered. Other honorable mentions was another cartoon animated. Teen Titans Judas Contract. If you haven't seen it, check it out. It's really well done. I did see The Shape of Water. You know,
Was it good?
It was.
What is that about?
It was like think about the creature from the Black Lagoon getting captured.
Okay.
Right? I think it's set in like the 50s. And there's a cleaning woman who's a mute. And she falls in love with this creature.
Mm-hmm.
And it's all centered around that. And Michael Shannon's the bad guy. You know, how can he not play a bad guy? He's fantastic. In Boardwalk Empire, I mean, he was a crazy bad guy. But yeah, it's good. I would describe it as, and this is all about Guillermo del Toro. It's a fairy tale for adults.
Isn't all these a fairy tale for adults?
True.
For guys like us.
But it plays out almost like, because there's a narrative that goes like a voiceover where someone introduced, and it's very dreamy in the beginning, and it's almost like how you would talk about like Christopher Robin and Winnie the Pooh in the beginning, like just tonally it does that, and then it segues into some adult subject matter.
Sounds cool.
It's worth a watch for sure. And then after that would be John Wick 2, which I thought was awesome. Kong Skull Island, Alien Covenant, and then It.
I still didn't see Skull Island. I was watching it a little bit yesterday. Looks good, but I just haven't really sat down and got into it.
Yeah, if you put it this way, Peter Jackson did the King Kong, right?
Mm-hmm.
This was way better.
Well, again with the reviews, but actually gave it really good reviews.
Yeah,
on the Rotten Tomatoes, because you always see them on the TV, and when it comes across, it says it on the bottom now. I guess they pay money for that too.
Yeah,
but I got to sit down and watch a couple movies. I just never have the time. Every new thing's coming out, like Black Panther, and I'm like looking forward to that. But there's always something coming out, or that show that you sent us. What was it called? With people not dying or something like that.
I can't remember. My brain's not working right now.
Yeah, something coming out on Netflix. It's like
that was Altered Carbon.
Yeah, we're just.
I'm stoked about that, man.
Yeah.
That looks really.
Download your consciousness and save it, and then.
Yeah.
I guess when a body comes available, they put it in another body.
Well, and the main character was the military guy from Suicide Squad.
He was also in a show I watched with Shannon, my wife. It's a cop drama. What the hell was it? It was really good. I can't think of it right now. I think a year ago it was on Netflix. Damn it. I hate that. It's on the tip of your tongue and I can't think of it. But,
You'll think of it.
But he's a good actor. I know he is.
Speaking of Netflix, we didn't even dive into all the shows that came out this year.
Yeah, man. I mean, that's... Well, all right, so let's do that. I mean, we're 47 minutes in. We got some time. So would you say things that you most enjoy? I mean, we touched on Bright, right?
All right, Bright was a good movie.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
Now, I'm going to say Punisher was awesome.
Punisher was
ridiculous.
fantastic.
And then The Defenders I really liked too, and it actually made me, when I first watched Iron Fist, and I saw all the other ones too, when I first watched Iron Fist, I lost interest. But after I saw The Defenders, I went back and watched it again.
Yeah, you appreciated the other ones.
And then Iron Fist actually was good after I watched it. I was like, wow, it's, it makes sense.
Yeah.
You know what I mean? It's pretty cool. But I really liked The Defenders. I liked how they did that. And that's why I'm bummed out that Netflix won't be carrying that stuff anymore.
So what does that mean? Does that mean
That
that
exactly,
they all
what
go to
does
the
that
Disney Channel?
I don't know. That's what I mean. And then you
whatever Disney Go or
exactly.
whatever,
and then you think about it.
Hulu Runaways. Sorry.
No, you're right. But how do you Disney-fy the Punisher?
You
know what I mean?
Afraid of Disney getting their hands in there.
Yeah, exactly. Are we going to still see him gouge out that dude's eyes? You know what I mean? That's why I want to watch the Punisher. He's an angry dude.
I love the guy that
live vicariously through
Yeah,
the
you're just like,
Punisher.
I want to watch a guy get tortured just to get revenge, Yeah,
there was a dude I went to high school with, and he and I, we were art geeks together, and he would draw some stuff that was like, some of it was, he's an amazing artist. He's working in the industry today, and he's just fantastic. So I would catch some of his doodling sometimes, and one of his doodlings, he had like the side of this guy's head just exploding, and like ear going one way and brains going another way. And I looked at it and I was like, "No, man, that's." He goes, "I put it all on paper, man. I put it all on paper."
Yeah, you might want to sit on a leather couch, dude.
But
getting called into the principal's office, or so we got a problem here.
But yeah, so that's like the outlet with the Punisher.
Could be drawing penises, like veiny ones.
Did you? There's this. Speaking of penises, drawing penises, there was this mockumentary, man, that Cindy was watching. It. No, what was it called? Vandal, I think it was. But it was really good. It was about this kid. It's basically high school students. And I think it's called American Vandal. I have to double check on that. But it's done really well. And Cindy marathoned it yesterday. And it's about this kid who gets accused, and he's the likely kid of spray painting on the faculty cars 27 penises. And then he's, gets kicked out of school and everything. But there's the AV Club geeks that are now going to create a documentary on solving this issue, or this kid's problem, and it's done really well.
So,
but when you said drawing,
I was just getting it off like super
penises.
bad or whatever. I drew that big veiny bastard.
I think of Porky's. You ever see Porky's?
Oh yeah,
yeah. When they're like to describe
Child of the '80s, man. How did you not see Porky's?
Describe the penis.
It had a mole on it.
Yeah, when they stuck it through the hole.
Yeah, it's a great movie.
Glory hole.
Line them up.
Guy's like cracking, falls off the desk, cracking up.
So,
what else came out this year besides Marvel movies? Marvel in Netflix. There had to be some other good shows.
That Chappelle stuff. At the end, very end, that was really good. He did a 2-part. Yeah, so that's the end of his 4-part.
How glad are you that he's back?
Oh man, I'm bummed out that was his last one.
Was he serious when he was like, "I'm out"?
He might do something else, but
he got paid a lot of money for that, didn't he?
Yeah, he can go into hiding for a little while now.
Right? He a ton of money.
He lives in Ohio. You know how much money
he really?
I'll travel.
Again with this Ohio thing today.
Yeah.
What's going on?
Yeah, but he's the kind of guy that like pretty much like plays by his own rules. I'm sure, he likes money, but he's just like,
well, he doesn't need to because
he's got enough.
Come back every couple of years and throw something out there and then go into hiding again.
He's a guy, if he knows he's got good content, then he'll come.
Did he have he had a nervous breakdown, or was that just false reporting?
He checked out.
Who knows? I think he just had enough. Honestly, I mean, he's one of those guys that I remember him going on the Stern Show and stuff all the time. He was kind of like quiet, like he liked to be left alone pretty much, one of those guys. And I think all that
just got to him
and it was just like, fuck this. I'm out.
He left like a ton of money on the table when he did that.
Yeah, but he talks about that too before. It was like, I think Comedy Central, he describes it as, here's like $50 million.
Yeah.
But you got to take this dick. You know what I mean? Then he slaps the microphone on the table, and he's just like, "Nah, I'm good."
It's good to tell. I wish I had "fuck you" money.
Yeah, right.
Like billions.
Look at Seinfeld. Seinfeld does the same thing. He's got more than enough money, but he likes putting out content just to put it out.
Well, I think it's about a sense of control too, right? So,
yeah, he's controlled with that. He doesn't put out like a bunch of junk.
Yeah, and so when I don't know, I don't have that few money, but it's a sense of control. Like so, and if you're making a lot of money or you're in a production with a lot of money, then a lot of people are involved. There's an investment. I know if I plunk down, $50 million to invest in a property or a movie or something like that, and 2 months in, I didn't hear anything about it, and I want to know what's going on, I'm going to be up in somebody's shit and going, hey, what's going on with my money?
Yeah.
You know, I want to know if my $50 million is going to turn into $200 million,
are you getting
like
a return?
you said.
Yeah, you're getting a return.
You know? So,
Because it's a business at the end of the day, even though you really want these artists
business.
again.
Yeah.
You could say that to do what they do.
What did Seinfeld start on, like Crackle, and then Netflix bought it out?
Oh, really?
Yeah, I think that's how that started. The comedians in cars
Yeah.
getting coffee.
Yeah, that's pretty good.
I didn't see it. Is it funny?
Yeah, it's pretty good.
Pretty good. He gets some interesting people on there.
And then Letterman's starting something now.
Yeah.
He's doing
stage act, like
and he's going to go to different locations and interview like certain people. And I'm pumped up because he's interviewing Stern.
Is he really?
That's one of them. And like, Stern.
So you're a huge Stern fan, aren't you?
Hell yeah, man. he's a legend.
Dude, I remember listening to him. Here I go, sound like a fucking geezer again.
Yeah. Where's your cane?
I know. Where's my medicine? Where's my hip? It's over there in the corner. But I was swinging a hammer. It was a summer job in between like junior and senior year of high school, and Stern. From when we first got there, we had radio, cranked that shit up, and just swinging a hammer and listening to Stern all morning. It's a good time.
Yeah,
Damn right.
Here we go. I'm going to date myself. I remember some dude. It was a big deal. Some dude was talking about a Playboy that had Vanna White in it.
That is dating yourself.
Who's Vanna White?
She's still turning. Well, she's not turning them. She's still doing wheel.
Yeah, but you notice how they don't put the camera real close.
She's a Disney animatronic.
Exactly.
I will say this about Stern. Supposedly, not to get it all on the 9/11 and all that, but when the 9/11 thing went down, when he did his show, it really got like serious, and everybody said it was fantastic what he was doing.
Kept it real.
Yeah, he always does, and then he doesn't get credit for his interviews. His interviews, I'll put his interviews up against anybody that does interviews. That guy is the greatest.
He gets more out of people. You're right. When he interviews them.
And he sucks people in. He makes them comfortable, and he pumps out good content every single time. Even if you don't think you're interested in that person, he'll lure you in, and he'll be like, "Oh, that's why the public likes this guy or girl."
Yeah. Well, he asks the questions that everybody wants to ask. Like,
it's not a punch list. It's not like, oh, where were you born? How did you get here? He goes into how did you get here? Like, what were the exact steps?
Mm-hmm.
And then he would run down them, and that's what gets people sucked in.
But he also does, yeah, absolutely. But and then he'll ask that question, and like Jimmy Fallon's getting slaughtered in the ratings right now.
Is he really?
Yeah, and
Jimmy Kimmel's killing him.
Yeah, and the reason is because he's very he puts the kid gloves on when he interviews people, and he got burned for interviewing, I think, Trump and not asking anything that was material, right?
Yeah, but that's not his style. And then Stern talks about that too.
Does?
Yeah, and it's like Colbert. So Colbert, when he came out, his ratings suck. So he takes over for Letterman, right?
Yeah.
And then his ratings blow. Well, they don't blow, but they're at the bottom of the list. So it would be like Fallon, Kimmel, and Colbert. And then he got Conan too. So
Love Conan.
Who got
screwed? Conan
He
got screwed by Leno,
early.
who's a fucking worm.
He screwed everybody.
Yeah, Leno back in the day had awesome stand up. He's just a worm. Well, anyway, so Colbert, his ratings suck. So then he buys into the let's hammer Trump thing, which is easy material, and it works.
Yeah.
So now he's top tier.
Yeah,
he's hard to beat. And then you got Fallon and Kimmel, and Kimmel dabbles in it a little bit. Kimmel's awesome, he's
I
funny.
love Jimmy.
And then Fallon, he's got good skits, so he brings that whole Saturday Night Live thing, like where he does like the good skits and stuff. Which after whatever happens to Trump or whatever, after that goes away, I bet you Fallon will come back.
Yeah, no, that's a good point.
You know what I mean?
People are really
you just got to stick out this everybody wants
Which
like
could be a couple of years though.
yeah. Well, we got how many more left?
3.
Right.
3 left. Okay, so
If he doesn't go,
he's gonna have to stick it out for that,
Yeah.
which I think will be fine. I mean,
Yeah.
they're not going to get rid of him. I don't think they're gonna
Kimmel and Fallon are my favorite. I
Yeah.
mean, they're the best.
Yeah, I mean, Conan's pretty awesome.
Conan's awesome too. He got screwed,
He
man.
did.
He
Yeah.
did. It's one of those things.
But they
It's
gave
like,
him $75 million to go buy.
fine.
Yeah.
But I'm saying
I love that parachute.
that's
man.
one of those guys though that's like into his work. And that's where I feel bad for him. Like, yeah, he got the money, but he's one of those guys that should be up at that
He should
level.
be. But
He
being on
got
TV
boned.
But being on TBS, you're not going to get.
Well, how crazy is it that he used to write for Saturday Night Live? And
Dude, he wrote for Saturday Night Live. He also wrote some of the Simpsons episodes.
but he writes for Saturday Night Live, so he has that background, right? And then Fallon gets the Tonight Show. You know what I mean?
kicks him
Yeah,
out.
but
for the
but
Tonight
that
Show.
they
he
couldn't-
had it.
But they really had no. He really could not come back from that after Leno bent him over.
Mm-hmm.
I mean, what was he going to do? Come back a second time?
Yeah.
And then like, what happens to the ratings then? Like, and then he's cooked.
Yeah. He's just doing his own thing.
Exactly.
He's still. I mean,
Plus,
as much as you feel bad for him, I don't because the guy's still
yeah.
making a ton of money.
Yeah,
I mean, it was embarrassing. It sucked, but at the end of the day, the guy's living large,
yeah.
living how we all would love to live.
And it's all going to internet content too, because like Kimmel and Fallon and Conan are like mostly Fallon and Kimmel are nailing it on YouTube.
Well, they're savvy. They can't. They got the right people in place because if you're not, you talk to a kid right now that's, in his teens or in his 20s, because part of my job is understanding demographics and usability and how people behave on the internet. And you talk to them, and they're like, I don't remember the last time I watched a show. I'm exaggerating, but it's they'll. If you were to give them a choice, especially the teenagers, right? If you were giving them a choice between watching something on their phone at 3-minute clips or 2-minute clips, or to go and watch and sit through an hour of something they think might be okay or think might be good, 9 times out of 10 they're gonna be like on
I'm the same
phone.
way now. I mean, I think we're all getting to that point.
We're getting conditioned.
Because like even Saturday Night Live comes on 11:30 on Saturday night.
It's too late.
Everybody's like, the next morning I find out on my scroll list.
You got the
okay,
highlights.
They did a good Trump thing. Or last night was I think what's his face came back. Old school with
Tracy Morgan?
no.
Will Ferrell.
Will Ferrell came back and did George W. Bush again. I didn't see the
I
skit,
saw that.
supposedly, but
It was
again,
good.
I gotta watch that. That's
It
fun.
was good.
Was it?
But then again, that's the same example. I didn't watch. I don't need to watch the whole show. I'll just watch that one skit. I'm good. To your point, John.
Yeah. It's good stuff. So we are an hour in. I think we have put a pin in our ratings, and we can say Logan is our winner of the Stanley. The 2018 Stanley Awards goes to Logan for Best Picture. So, anything to add before we head out of here, guys? Nothing from the. Well, what do we got coming up this weekend? We got
Super Bowl.
Super Bowl, yes.
Yeah.
So Super Bowl, we'll do our a wrap up on the Super Bowl. I know
Yeah.
there's going to be a ton of commercials that are going to dip into. No doubt, Black Panther's going to be on there
Han
a couple
Solo.
times. Han
We're
Solo.
all excited about. You said halftime, right?
Solo.
Yeah, it's supposed to be. We'll find out.
Yeah, I'm excited about that.
So we'll record on Monday, and we'll have this episode out before then. I'll cut this up and have it out before then. And we'll do a recap on some of the sci-fi goodies or some of the fantastical goodies as far as previews and trailers and things like that they'll show on the Super Bowl. Philadelphia Eagles are in it.
Yeah, not to discriminate against any Patriot fans, but I think we're going to win this one.
Yeah.
I do. The Eagles.
Underdogs.
Oh, absolutely. I'm going to get my mask. I got to get one.
I've been waiting my whole life to go to the parade, man. My whole life.
Are you
Oh,
going
that's
to go
gonna
to
be
a parade?
You're damn right I am.
Yeah, I don't know.
I literally been waiting my whole life for this.
Did you go to the Phillies?
Of course I did.
Yeah, I didn't get down there for the Phillies. I was down there when they won.
And this is the first. This will be the first Super Bowl win.
Yeah.
I think of
I
many.
like your confidence, guys.
I think we're gonna have a couple.
Yeah, I think so too. I want to win one and get it under my belt, man.
Yeah.
I mean, second string quarterback and you're going to the Super Bowl.
I don't know. He looked good
Fact
last
that-
week, dude.
No, I'm serious. I mean, but like if that's your second string, there's no qualms. Like some people are saying, I don't know. Does that mean that Wentz doesn't come back
Oh,
next year?
so
It's like,
silly. That's
that's
silly.
ridiculous.
Yeah.
He's a top 5 quarterback.
And that's my
Yeah.
point, right? It's
Yeah.
like you're going there with a second stringer. Next year's got to be nothing but gravy, right?
Yeah, and we get a
Well,
lot of
we'll
players
see.
back.
I just want to get one under my belt.
Yeah.
The fact of the matter is, I'm sick of hearing like, "Hey, you guys got no rings." You're right. We don't have any rings,
We're the only
and I
one
would
that-
like to get one.
and we got Mr.
I keep
Pittsburgh.
sending whenever Sydney busts my chops about it. I just send her. I got this one. It's on my phone. It's a picture of a guy holding up 5 Steelers Super Bowl rings
Don't
on
they
one
have
hand,
6?
and then one middle
Yeah.
finger with the Steelers ring
there
on the
it
other
is.
thing. And I'm not even that guy, but she just pokes me about not being an Eagles fan. I'm like, listen, I've been a Steelers fan since the late 70s.
No, the last time we were
I was
here.
6.
I don't think
You
you were
know?
here. They were having a couple months ago. They were having an Eagles party. John put out his Pittsburgh blanket on the couch. Cindy didn't even see it the whole day.
I think she saw it. She just didn't acknowledge it.
Well, one thing's been true. Eagles, even when they sucked, there was always fans in those stadiums. I remember being a kid, watching those games. Like when we played the Patriots once in a while.
Oh, nobody were there.
There was nobody there, and I'm talking like pre-Drew Bledsoe days.
Oh,
they-
wow.
So, fact of the matter is, I've been an Eagles fan longer than you've been a Patriots fan.
No, I've
Fact.
been an Eagles fan. I mean, I've been. My life would have loved being
Steelers too, though. Steelers have, even when they sucked.
I've been for 40 years.
But Steelers, even when they sucked,
That's
like,
longer than you've been alive.
No, I'm with you. Like, and they won a bunch of Super Bowls, and even when they had bad years, though, the fans always filled the stadiums.
True.
I'm saying,
talking about the Patriots.
I'm talking about
themselves.
Patriots fans. They weren't always there. They were always big into hockey and baseball.
Oh,
Yeah.
baseball was like the biggest thing for.
I would say like
Boston.
around the Bledsoe years when they started trickling into that stadium.
Oh God.
All right, let's put a pin in this. This has been the Nick, John, and Jamie show. Thank you, everybody, for joining us this week. I hope you enjoyed your time with us, sitting in, discussing not just the weekly geekly, but
Got a little sports in there
but
too.
little sports.
Yeah,
We
how
got a
about
little
that?
something for everybody. So tell your friends, and we can be found on the usual channels. If you Twitter at NJJ Show, Facebook, just search the Nick, John, and Jamie Show, and of course we're on Instagram as well. We have very little content right now, a whole lot of retweets, but as we build the show, we're going to continue to add new and interesting stuff for you guys to take a hold of, take a bite out of. And thanks again for joining the conversation, and this is the Nick, John, and Jamie Show. We'll see you next week.